I was born and raised in St. John's, Newfoundland, and spent most of my life here. Grew up playing most of the standard stuff everybody played: hockey, played soccer in the summertime, and but I loved math and science in school, and had an opportunity to work for a local company as an engineering student in high school. Didn't get paid. My job was photocopying documents for engineers, and I'd look at all the names that were on the document, and I think about how impressive these people must have been in order to have designed and built such an amazing thing, which was the Hibernia platform. And I knew right then that's what I wanted to do. And I was pretty involved at school. Was involved extracurricularly in the Engineering Society. Helped bring the Canadian Engineering Competition to St. John's for the first time. And my marks were pretty good, so I started with ExxonMobil Canada here right out of school.
Steve reported to me when I was the project supervisor for ExxonMobil Canada East. And Steve was a project engineer, particularly responsible for the flow line installation on the Hibernia platform.
I guess she's kind of gotten to see me grow up. She's always been there to provide for me, you know, a lot of guidance and mentorship, and has really impacted and shaped who I've become.
He's got a quiet confidence. He's thorough. He pursues and chases down all the issues that he's responsible to resolve, and a depth of technical knowledge that, as a supervisor, I relied on very strongly, and he always delivered.
It was an incredible time. I mean, Hibernia was, you know, such an amazing asset, or is such an amazing asset. People are fantastic. I learned so much when I first started here, and about 3 years into that, I got an opportunity to move to Houston, and I started on a project called the Adoptu project, which was in Sakhalin Island in Russia, and that was my first glimpse of major project life. I got to do a big greenfield project, and you know, I fell in love again with my job.
I first met Steve Edwards in 2010 when we started the front-end engineering design on the project. Steve was our lead instrument and control engineer at the time, and had just come off a couple of other projects that were global in nature, and we were having him step in and take on a large responsibility right off the bat for Hebron.
I knew that this thing was going to mean so much to so many at the time, and just be able to contribute to that was something that I couldn't pass up.
He took on the challenges of the project early on. And he had a responsibility to deal with a number of contractors. He knew how to bridge between what a project needed and what the operating company needed. Yeah, what he brings together, what makes it unique, is he brings from having understanding how it has to work in the end, and then what does it take to be able to build it to make it accomplish what you want to do when you start it up. And Steve's prior time here in Newfoundland working on Hibernia before we ever got into Hebron really leveraged that knowledge that he had.
I first met Steve back in 2010 when he was the I&C lead for ExxonMobil, and I was the interface manager for the Hebron Topsides project. At various points in time, Steve would have had to have multiple stakeholders consisting of literally hundreds of engineering personnel on both the contractor and subcontractor teams. He doesn't apologize for his high expectations of others, but yet he's amenable to and approachable to coach and encourage others so that we're all successful towards the one common goal.
What impresses me most about Steve is his very active role in making sure that his team and the young engineers on his team are given the opportunities to demonstrate their ability and to grow their ability. He really takes that on as his own personal commitment.
I truly believe that the oil and gas industry attracts and retains the most amazing people in the world, the greatest talents. And I think on the Hebron project, we had the best of the best. You know, a facility that sits in 90 meters of water, it's located 350 kilometers offshore in one of the harshest environments in the whole world, and people did that.
He's patient, he's a really good listener, he's a good friend of mine, his family and everything. He's a really good family man, and he's been able to balance the demands between what a project like this can put on you as well as what your family needs. And as I've watched Steve work that balance, he's done a very good job.
What Steve really represents here is a growing generation of Newfoundlanders who has seen the oil and gas industry really develop and now represents this growing technical base who are pursuing a career in oil and gas and being quite successful with it.
So what impressed me the most and why I think he deserves the award is, again, to witness his growth from that technical into that person who becomes more and more responsible for overall scope, the bigger picture. So it's the ability to expand himself and the growth that occurred with him over the last 7 years of that project, warrants him being recognized for, at his age, for the ability to do that.
Steve has developed a strong technical knowledge of offshore structures, and he has used that technical knowledge to influence a number of critical decisions for the design of the Hebron platform.
When I started on Hebron, it was just a little cartoon on a page. And to watch it develop from that cartoon to come all the way to first oil has been an absolute privilege.
And you couldn't ask for a greater experience. And a natural leader to grow through that, see that evolution take place to the reality, it's been great for him and it's been great for what he's been able to do. So, but it's a natural leadership skill that he's got that's really stood out, and that's why I think he's, you use the term the rising star. That's Steve in action.
To be able to engineer and design something so massive, so complex, so magnificent, that opportunity doesn't exist everywhere. People around the world have contributed, but the core of what we've done has been right here. And I'm just, so happy, so thrilled, so proud to receive this award. And I really think it's an acknowledgement of the team that we built and everything that we've achieved.